All right, here we go. This is how to measure a pumpkin, the OTT method. You can start measuring your pumpkins anytime you like. Personally, I don't do a complete OTT measurement till like day 20. I don't know, it just, to me, it just doesn't really mean a whole lot until you get them to day 20. I mean, there's various sizes. Pete Glazer's on day 10, he was 18-inch circumference. That's a tiny pumpkin. Grew it to 2,036 pounds. Some other guy had a 38-inch circumference and grew his to 1,100 pounds. I mean, it doesn't mean a whole lot. But when measuring pumpkins, this is the proper way to do it. You want to measure the largest circumference, which is typically around the stem blossom area. You'll come straight across the stem blossom, right around, completely around this largest part of the pumpkin. This one here is 69 inches, and you'll write that measurement down. And then side to side, you'll go directly to the ground, side to side, to the opposite side, directly to the ground. Don't hug your pumpkin, straight down to the ground, and take that measurement. This one here is 40, almost 45 inches. And then end-to-end measurement is from this stem down to the ground, across the blossom, down to the ground. And here we got another, it's like almost 47 inches. This is the Donkinator, 1947 Clements. You'll add all three of those measurements up together. You can go to the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth website. It's Great Pumpkin Commonwealth website, and they have a chart, a weight chart. You can download that, and on that chart, you total up these three measurements. Typically this pumpkin might be like around 150 inches total, all three measurements, 150 to 180 inches, maybe it's 200 inches. You look on the chart, it'll tell you 200 inches equals X amount of pounds. What I like to do is every day measure the circumference. I measure the circumference only every day. So I've got my finger on the pulse of the pumpkin. I know if we're getting 4 inches of circumference a day, 5 or 6. I shoot for 6 inches every day. Right now at this point in time, I'm feeding these pumpkins every day. CalMag, Pumpkin Power, Bloom. I look at the leaves. If they start getting really green, if you look right here, here's a sucker popping up. What's this here? Is that a secondary popping up that I missed? Actually, yes it is. It's coming off the back side of this. That needs to be cut off. Right now I'll just break it off, slow it down, but it needs to be cut off. It's stealing energy from this pumpkin. Another thing people need to do, I didn't mention, is you need to remove the flower from your blossom end. A few days after you pollinate, that flower is going to start drying up and looking like it's drooping. Just gently tear it off with your fingers. Don't cut it off. Don't jerk it off. Just carefully grab it and carefully, gently pull it off. And if you see any goofy looking stuff on there, wash it with hydrogen peroxide immediately. Get a light dose of hydrogen peroxide, wash it with that, kill any bacteria so you don't get something growing on your pumpkin. Other than that, we need to keep them growing. Don't worry about, hey, if you're shooting for an 800-pound pumpkin, a 1,000-pound pumpkin, don't worry about the pumpkin being on a secondary vine or the main vine. You'll be fine on a secondary. I honestly think I'd like to try it one year. I'd like to grow a pumpkin on the main vine and one on the secondary. I truly believe that a person could grow a couple of 1,500-pounders on one plant easily. I think it would even go greater than that. These plants have enormous energy, just unbelievable, enormous energy. So as far as measuring them, if you measure them every day, be careful. You don't want to scratch the skin. This is real tender. The acids from your skin, the more you handle it, the more chance you're going to scratch it, and you want to keep this baby soft. To keep it baby soft, all we do is take a bed sheet, nice clean, not dirt and sand on it, and cover the pumpkin. That's all you need. Keep the sun off it. And if it rains and gets wet, it doesn't mean anything. Let it rain and get wet. It's okay. We got sand underneath it so that it'll dry back out after the rainstorm, but you want to keep the sun off it. You don't want the sun beating on your fruit. Maybe late in the game, the last couple weeks, we might take the sheet off a little bit here and there and let it warm up. But other than that, keep it covered. All right? Keep an eye on your stumps. Your stumps in your main vine, make sure the squash vine borers aren't getting you. Use merit, whatever it takes. Don't just bury your vines. Burying your vines isn't going to keep the squash vine borer out. You need to treat the plant. They will lay their grubs in the stalks, on the bottom of the leaves. They will get your plant, trust me. I've been battling them for 20 years. But check out your stump. Keep your stump trimmed, pruned. Look for any funky spots. If you see a little funky spot showing up, put some Daconol on it. Put some dry powder on it. Don't let it just go. You got to keep an eye on that. Don't let dead leaves laying around the ground. Pick up any dead leaves, some dead flowers around your stump area, and if you can, around the entire plant. Keep all that stuff picked up. Moldy, decaying matter laying on your vines will get the funky monkey started, and then you'll be gone. You'll have diseases. You'll have problems. You got to keep the areas healthy, clean, the best you can. All right. All right. Take care. There's your latest video, and be using that pumpkin powder, that pumpkin power. That pumpkin power right now should be used with at least, every other feeding. I'm putting a couple tablespoons in every feeding. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.